We are about to blow your mind with an award show so big, we call it the Hammies. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Coaches on Couches.
Being slouches.
I am your host, Coach Dale Sanford.
And I am Coach Bryant Funston. This episode is sponsored by Your Likes. Your Likes makes the content keep coming fresh and hot, like whizzing in your wetsuit on a cold water day. Still looking for a holiday gift for that special coach or podcast host? Give them Your Likes. It's better than a gift card and a great way to say, I didn't hate this content. Plus, Your Likes are all organic, cage-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, and 100% vegan, so you can feel good about giving them as a gift to even the most hard-to-shop-for podcast host, us, on your list. Give us Your Likes today.
There you go. Well done. Yeah, so today we're going to go over some of the biggest ups and downs of 21. 2021's kind of been 2020 on repeat, sort of. And so we're going to go over the ups and downs of 2021, including some of the big achievements of both, in both the pro ranks and also our athletes in general. I know we haven't done a ton of podcasting this year, and that is a goal of ours for 2022, which we'll do an episode on that as well. But fear not, there will be more content coming. But let's jump right into this on the kind of global professional front here. Let's talk about what.
Yeah, I don't think you've hyped up this award show quite enough here.
Well,
we get the Hammies going on here.
That's true. We are about to blow your mind with an award show so big, we call it the Hammies.
The Hammies.
We will be distributing these tiny little baby hammers to very, very deserving athletes across the globe. If you happen to achieve the greatness of a baby hammer, you can come pick it up, Germantown, Tennessee. Come on.
They will not be shipped.
You can't ship one of these. Come on.
You can't ship a hammer? All right. All that said, we're about to run through some categories here and recipients of the 2021 Hammie Awards.
Yeah, so first and foremost, we're going to kind of jump into the global professional ranks here. And so, Bryant, what do you see as the pro race of the year?
Well, it was supposed to be one, but I had to put a few in there. So I got some options, and I'm sticking on the road cycling.
Well, if you break it into categories, we can give away as many of these things as you want.
I mean, they're 3D printed, and so we can just keep them coming. Strada Bianchi was epic this year. For those that watched it, amazing mixed surface race, one of my favorites. And Van der Poel showed he was the cream of the crop. I've got some stats from it, which is why this is included. For those of you who have any sort of semblance of power numbers, 4 hours and 45 minutes, over 100 miles, 186 kilometers. He averaged 318 watts. 4.2 watts per kilogram, which, if you're not familiar with that, most people can't average 4.2 watts per kilogram for 20 minutes, and he did it for 4 hours and 45.
Yeah, unless you set your weight to about 20 kgs at Zwift, it ain't happening.
Yeah, 449 kilojoules of energy used.
It's a lot of mini Cokes.
Peak 5 minute right at 500 watts, 1 minute at 740, and he finished it off with a blistering attack that no one else could stay with. So that's number one of my nominees. And then I got to go to Wout van Aert at the Tour de France. So something amazing about that was he won 3 stages in 3 totally different disciplines. He won the hardest climbing stage, finishing on Ventoux with a win there. He won the time trial, and then on the final day he wins on the Champs-Élysées. So 3 totally different disciplines, and he wins 3 different stages there. Alaphilippe defending at the World Championships, riding away from everyone. That one pretty darn impressive. And Nielsen Palace for the USA. I thought he had a chance of winning the World Champs this year. And lastly, I got to toss Mark Cavendish in there. So he ties the overall Eddie Merckx record for number of stage wins at the Tour de France. So I guess, Tour de France comes up a lot there. So maybe it's Tour de France.
So what you're trying to say is not the race, but
there were
several races and other. You broke this into a lot of categories, Brent.
I did.
So congratulations. Here's your hammer.
Okay, so I'm going with Tour de France. I got to go with the Tour de France. There was so much happening there that Tour de France takes it. Strade Bianche a close second. World Champs third for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would say on my end, pretty much all the races that happened in St. George, Utah, were all pretty exciting this year. It's a pretty difficult course, but seeing Lionel and Sam Long kind of just running together in the last kind of 10K in that race was pretty exciting, and then Gustav just dropping the hammer on everybody later in the year. But really, the race that just sticks in my head is the Collins Cup. The heat with Taylor Knibb, and she was going against Daniela Ryf, who is one of the best in the world, and she wasn't maybe feeling 100% that day, but Taylor hasn't spent. She's a short course racer. She had just finished her first 70.3. She had done a bunch of other racing prior to, and she comes out on her she's a great swimmer, but she comes out on her road bike with clip-on aero bars and a disc wheel and puts 14 minutes into the people that she's racing against. So that to me was a huge race for the year, and just kind of shows that she's still so young. She's kind of the future of USA racing here. So
put her on your radar for sure for 2022, huh?
Absolutely. 100%.
Well, you did that a lot faster than I did mine.
I did.
So there's a hammer for you for being very quick.
Here's the hammer.
Uh-oh. Boom! Hammer is dropped. If you're listening on the podcast, sorry, you did not see the hammer being dropped. Go find it live.
So, with the best races of the year, we kind of have to go the other way. So what would you say are your kind of biggest disappointments for 2021?
I'm going to have to go with Primoz Roglic has got to be on there. That dude crashes out. If he could stay on his bike, he would be a great bike racer. And he still finished third in the standings for the world or UCI rankings or whatever. But he lost Paris-Nice after having a big lead there by crashing 2 times on the final stage. And I think most disappointing, going back to the Tour de France, there was all this hype around him being one of the big favorites. And he ends up wrecking, I think, 38 times in the first few days and is out of the Tour de France. So you're left with a guy who I think could have made the overall race a lot more exciting, being out. And so then it was old Tade kind of had his free run at the overall. And then I got to throw Chris Froome in there only because people keep hyping him up. It's like, let the man fade into oblivion. But he keeps having all this pressure put on him. And Man, that dude was getting dropped when sprinters were still in the group at the tour. And then finally,
he was in the caboose quite a bit.
Finally, the man I mentioned in the most impressive races of the year, him at the Olympic mountain bike event, Matthew van der Poel decides to do the head first flip, landing on his back, and essentially has not been right since. So he's gone. He went south after probably going to receive one of the awards for the most impressive athletes of the year. If it had ended, at the Tour de France, I might have given it to him. But that was a very big disappointment. Him wrecking early in the Olympic mountain bike event.
Yeah,
number one goes to Primoz.
He has been a little bit of a disappointment. I think he got his feelings hurt with after the tour with Tadej taking it out of him on the last day. His confidence is a little down.
Oh yeah, back in 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ever since then,
he's had some good results, but it's sure always like it's like glimmers.
Is he or he? Weigh in. Is he or is he not a robot? I think he might be slightly robotic.
He could be.
Yeah. Who do you got, Dale? Who
do you
have? Biggest disappointment trophy for 2021?
I don't say I'm necessarily disappointed in any of these athletes per se, and just disappointed because I thought they could do better on that day. Christian Blumenfeld in the 70.3 World Championships, I really thought he was gonna, kind of own it and then be able to say that he won the Olympics, the WTS Grand Final, the 70.3 World Championships, all these achievements in 1 year. And he's coming up here again on another category. But, I was a little disappointed that he couldn't pull it off on that day. The same goes for, Lionel. I enjoy listening to Lionel talk about his training and stuff like that. And he's just had a few where nutrition bit him in the butt, and he was rolling really well, but and then it wasn't. So those are always kind of disappointing to see. But my big disappointment for 2021 is that joker Scott Morris, who started USA Crits, and the poor light that he has put on American crit racing right now with his shenanigans because he likes little kids. So that, to me, big, huge, scar on American cycling right now. But
USA Crits was one of the most exciting things happening last year, and now you've got Legion and others and races. I believe Tulsa Tough, Boise, quite a few of the races that were part of that USA Crit series have now pulled out of that. And if you want to read more about it, you feel free to do so. You can make your own judgment call on all that. But yeah, definite bummer, because that was the most exciting thing happening. I thought was the USA Crits.
Yeah,
in the US scene.
It's again, read it up for yourself. But regardless of truth or untruth, the fact that it's brought up and people are now fleeing USA Crits because of it, and I think there's enough going on in American cycling right now that we'll pull out of it, and there'll be some great organizations that come up and some great things coming on in American crit racing. But this was a bit of a setback.
For sure.
All right, so we're going to go on to what we believe to be some of the most kind of shocking moments in the pro global world this year.
And I think on this one we actually did one each as opposed to 58.
Yeah.
So there we go. Lead it off, Dale. What do you got?
Yeah, so I was talking about Blumenfeld. I mean, I've been I've loved watching Blumenfeld race for years. He's just the man can suffer like no other, and he just goes after it. So just watching him like dominate in so many different distances, like I said before, Olympic champion, WTCS Grand Final champion, wins Clash Daytona, and then goes on and wins Ironman Cozumel, breaking the Ironman world record by 6 minutes in his first attempt at Ironman distance. So pretty impressively shocking results this year for Blumenfeld.
Yeah, that's ridiculous there. I'm going to go with – go ahead.
Sorry. And then now, he's been touting this sub-7 project where he's going to try to break 7 hours for a full Ironman. Where,
what do you think? What are the odds you're putting on that?
He's got to take 21 minutes off of a full distance, which, I think it can be done eventually. But when you look at if you look at the Battle Royale this year with Jan Frodeno and Lionel Sanders, they had probably the most ideal. It was a little cold, but they had the most ideal course they could have had for speed. I'd like to see what Blumenfeld can do on that course, because it was pretty much set up to you don't have to slow down, very straight lines on everything. It was set up for speed. So I'd like to see Jan and Blumenfeld go at it in a battle royale.
That's what Dale's excited about in 2022. Tune in next time. I'm going to go with, as far as most shocking title of 2021, it's got to go to the Neuhofen town, Anna Kaisenhofer. If you're saying, who is that? A lot of people were. So she, at the Olympics, the Olympic road race, Anna Kaisenhofer takes the win only slightly before the top female cyclist of 2020-21, Annemiek van Vleuten, celebrates coming across the line in second place. So no radios were allowed at the Olympic road race. They didn't realize, the pack didn't realize that there was still someone off the front. And so Anna Kaisenhofer essentially sneaks in for the road race Olympic gold medal, largely because the group behind thought that they were the ones racing for the win, as opposed to there being someone up the road. So pays to be race aware, but that was also it was almost like it definitely Van Vleuten's race to lose. And sure enough, she made it happen.
Yeah, for sure. And while we're on the Olympics, I think another shocking moment that is worth mentioning is the whole boat restart of the men's triathlon. They had this if you didn't see it, a camera boat was going in front of the start line, and they did the initial. They basically sent them off with the boat in the way, and so half of the people got off clean, and everyone else was jumping in, trying not to jump into the motor of this boat, and go. So they had to restart it, and some of these guys were 100 meters into the swim already, and that is the hardest 100 meters of the whole swim.
Heart rate's pegged.
Oh yeah. So they had to get them all back on the pier and restart the whole race. So I'm sure it set some people on the back foot, as far as the start of the race and being able to do that effort again immediately.
Mm-hmm. Mental adversity training. Something we talk about help all the time. All right, moving on.
All right, so we're moving on to an award for the kind of standout athlete of the year. So somebody who maybe had a breakout season, or something like that. Somebody that just really kind of stood out in your mind, as far as and not necessarily the people who were winning world championships or national championships or whatever. So what you got, Funson?
I've got one for the male and one for the females. I'm going with Wout van Aert on the male side, and he was winning lots of things. I've already mentioned him earlier. I likely would have gone. There was a good chance I probably would have gone with Vanderpool, except for the fact that he flopped the back half of the year. So I think he had the advantage going into it, but Wout van Aert just stayed strong the entire season. If you've been watching any cyclocross right now, we're still in 2021. He essentially going against a bunch of cyclocross only specialists. He's come into the cross scene and he's won handily the last 3 races he's done. So overall, across all genres, Wout van Aert's the man right now of 2021. On the women's side, the person I mentioned getting second at the Olympics after winning the time trial, Annemiek van Vleuten. She had a resounding victory as far as the UCI points. I mean, she put almost doubled up second place. She won on all types of courses. Just an amazing cyclist. So she takes it for the women's side of things.
Gotcha. I'll lead off with the ladies. So in triathlon, I mean, if you're looking at people who had kind of really good seasons, I mean, Lucy Charles Barclay had a great season. She's ranked number 1 in the world right now, according to PTO. She did well at multiple distances. But I would still say that Georgia Taylor Brown had kind of a really, really consistent, like some really great results, did really well in Super League. And so she, in my opinion, she was kind of the female kind of breakout this year. On the male side, totally biased here. Our buddy Seth Ryder, in our opinion, had one hell of a season. He had great races, very consistent racing across the ITU circuit. He was the highest. He's the highest ranked male in U.S. history at the WTCS standings. He got a gold medal in mixed relay. He won the bike jersey in Super League this year, and he got into Super League last minute, which was awesome. But he really showed that he can stand, and race with the best of the best, the fastest in the world. And he's still super young. And then he kind of finished up the season with a 4th place at Xterra World Championships. So pretty awesome season. And like I said, he's worked really, really, really hard over the years and is going to continue to do it. And again, he's still so young that he's got years to improve. So watch out for Seth Ryder.
Yeah, that's a great one. And if you have not watched any of that Super League stuff, I highly encourage you go back and check some of those out.
That was one of my biggest disappointments of the year, is that the Super League season was so short.
Man, that's such an exciting format of racing. It's almost like the crit racing of the triathlon world. That was super cool. I will also say I think you're a little biased on Georgia Taylor Brown too, since you're from Georgia.
GTB? She's from the UK, so there's no there. So is so there's no.
Yeah. I thought it was just the name, Georgia. Okay,
no.
Gotcha.
Nope.
Gotcha.
All right, so we're gonna switch gears now. We're gonna go. We're taking it. We're gonna go a little more local, a little more personal here. So we're talking about best local events for us, for the events that our athletes, did. So, our top nominees here are the Ironman 70.3 Memphis. We've got the Outdoors Inc. Grit and Grind Gravel Grinder, Memphis May Triathlon, Tiger Lane Crit Series, and Spur of the Moment State Championship Race. The Walking Tall 50K and 25K, and then also obviously the St. Jude Marathon. So these are our big races of the year. Funston, what do you think? What do you think takes the cake here?
Man,
takes the hammy.
Best local event. I'm gonna have to get rid of the Tiger Lane event just because we were promoters of it. So giving yourself an award, I feel like, is kind of Bush League. So I'm gonna strike that one. Although I will say there were so many preems available for that race that some of the races were receiving a preem each lap, to the point where they're like, we can't make people sprint for every lap, can we? If you don't know what a preem is,
you get a preem, and you get a preem.
Yeah, it's like they're on Oprah. Everyone's getting preems. So that one's gone. Gosh, after that, I've gotta go between. I mean, 70.3. Really tough to vote against that one. We could have had better weather. That would have been good.
Could have had better weather. There was a parking issue. There was
a parking fiasco,
which is being worked on as we speak.
But Solutions. It gave the Jeep Club of Memphis something to do that morning to tow people out. St. Jude Marathon, mainstay, awesome. Derek Morgan winning it was pretty darn awesome in the marathon. But I got to go with Walking Tall. Obviously, it's one of the most awesome ultras around, and the amount of work that they put into that and what it benefits is huge as well.
Yeah.
But I think I got to give it to the 70.3. First time happening, great turnout. The turnout was amazing. The spectators were amazing. I feel like, that's something that is an awesome highlight to the town. And so I'm giving it to 70.3 personally. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, without trying to be biased on the event, it was a good event. There's some things that need to be changed. We've already met with the race director there on some things that can improve and how to improve them, and they're going to do that stuff. So the race is going to keep getting better. And all of these other races are just mainstays in our town, and maybe we take them for granted because we're just used to supporting them and doing them every year. Yeah. But the amount of pure passion that Brian and Sean put into Walking Tall, I have to give it to them, because the race has just grown from nothing, and they make nothing on it. They give all the money to the park. The park has grown and expanded because of it. So I would definitely give it to those guys for sure.
Yep. Yeah. My only exclusion for that was just that it's an hour 15 out of town.
No,
I totally agree. I totally agree. They do an awesome job with that event, and we were disappointed we weren't able to be there last year with other stuff happening out of town, but a great event. And if you don't know Mr. Scruggs, some great pictures from that event too.
Check them out. All right, so we have athletes that race all over the world, realistically, and some go to really big races, as in world championship, that sort of thing. Some go to really big races, meaning high attendance, something like that. So what are your big nominees for the biggest race attended by our athletes this year?
Man, biggest race attended by BPC coached athletes. We got, the 70.3 Worlds. Obviously, anything with world attached to it is a big one. We've got the Grand Fondo Nationals that happened that we had athletes go to. That was obviously a big one. We had some national championships that people attended. Mr. Philip Young doing the Aquabike World Championships in Amsterdam.
Is that Amsterdam?
Hamster?
Did you say hamster?
I think that's how they say it.
Is it? Is it like a town full of hamsters? Or
I believe so. We might have to DQ it.
What exactly is Aquabike?
I think it's riding a bike in a pool. I'm not sure.
Okay. I don't think that qualifies as a sport. All right, Phil, you're out.
Phil, you're calling.
Sorry.
Big Sugar, that was another big one. Lifetime puts on some massive events. First time race, sold out in 2 minutes when they opened registration. We had quite a few athletes there. So I got to say, those have got to be some of our nominees there, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think the USA Triathlon Nationals this year had 5,000 or 6,000 people there. So it depends on what you want to classify as big, as size or prestige, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we get to just decide.
That's right. It's our show.
This is kind of a loose category. This is open to interpretation.
We should have broken this up.
Yeah.
As far as numbers go, though, like a number of people in a race, obviously Memphis 70.3 was the largest. We had 43 people do that race. As far as prestige, what would you say? I mean, world championships are usually pretty prestigious. So we had 3 people at 70.3 Worlds in St. George this year. I'm going to have to go with it on the prestige factor.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get bigger than Worlds. So, anytime you make it to a world event, and Philip Young, Aquabike World, I know we DQ'd him for riding a bike in a pool, but making it onto the podium there, that's a massive as far as like a big race. And he found his way all the way to Europe to do that one. So I might have to give it to that one, to Aquabike World Championship.
There you go, Phil.
Giving it to you, Phil.
Here's your Hammie. Come get it. All right.
Next category.
Yeah. So we're talking about. So every year there are, people jump into like races that are epic, or they just really let it all out there to the point where you're just toasted by the end. We like to celebrate those types of achievements, both the epic and the difficult, I would say. So what would you say some of your athletes kind of letting it all out there?
Oh yeah, I got quite a few nominees here. I got quite a few. So everyone go grab a cup of coffee.
Buckle
Press
up.
Pause. Go grab yourself a cup of coffee. I got Lee Rustin. Actually, throughout the season, Lee was burning it up from start to finish. Grand Fondo Nationals in Asheville probably had to have been one of those. Ended on a super hard climb. And this was in July, late July. She'd been racing for the whole year already. And you can see the picture right now. Grand Fondo. This was the race that qualified her to go do the World Championships. But Lee Rustin, start to finish, was leaving it out on the road. I've got Lou Cooper, did over 30 races, state crit win, Cat 3 upgrade. He did the rule of 3, like every discipline you can imagine. He did gravel worlds. He did the rule of 3 over in Arkansas. A lot of road events, a lot of crits, Tulsa Tough. He was all over the place. Tony Gambrell, his first Ironman Indiana, going sub 11 there, which was awesome for his first event. Anytime you're doing something for over 10 hours, pretty darn impressive, and you got to leave it out there. Tommy Clark doing the K2N, which is in South Africa, Kilimanjaro to Natrone. I think I said that right. His bike was lost. He had to do it on a flat pedal bike the first couples. He missed the first stage, but he actually went back after it was over. So he was on a used bike, got his bike finally in. He went back and did one of the stages for it to be official. Epic there, multi-day stage race. Elijah Pugh, 12 hours, 9 minutes, 17 seconds on his bike trainer, Zwifting to 210 miles just because he heard some people talking about how that was not possible. That's leaving it out there. Hart Robinson, Unbound 200, back-to-back years. Anytime, again, you're over 10 hours on a bicycle, a very much leaving it out there performance. And Scott Newberry, state crit, Cat 2 victory, taking home a jersey. Super hard, super hot day. And I know I was very proud of that performance for him as well. So those are my nominees of my athletes.
Yeah, I had, yeah.
Oh, wait, one more. Sorry,
Oh.
one more. I missed Sally Landham. Grand Veduta stage race. 3-day back-to-back trail event. Plenty of climbing in that stage race as well. She put in a lot of work to get there, so that was a great performance also.
Awesome. Yeah, we had, it's tough to like really pick and choose here. But we had Bobby Weekly go and do Unbound. He had like 5 flats and managed to work through them all and still finish with a respectable time. Meg Hall. So, I mean, just in a matter of a season, Meg did Murder Mile over in Middle Tennessee, which is a backyard ultra where they, you basically just do a lap every amount. It's a specific amount of time, a specific distance, and you have X amount of time to make it to the start line for the next lap. So she did Murder Mile, did pretty well there. Did the Memphis 70.3, ended up getting a spot to the World Championships next year, and then went and did the Pinhoti 100, and that's in like the Cheaha area of Alabama, and did very well there. So she pretty much laid it out there all season, pretty much all season.
Yep.
Ryan Carmichael finishes first Ironman in Lake Placid, which is is my favorite course on the entire North American circuit. Yeah, I mean, there are a ton more. I'd be here a while. I mean, I could go into plenty of big races, but those are kind of the ones that immediately stand out in my head as far as leaving it all out there. But the winner is Chris Watts. If you're puking in a trash can after the Memphis MA triathlon, he made the podium, but his body took it out on him after he was done.
Photo credit going to our boy Daniel Scruggs once again.
He always seems to be
there to capture the best finish line moments. The big key. If Scruggs is at an event, you better be minding your P's and Q's after the event, because he will capture it and you will get blasted on an award show. Chris, come pick up your baby hammer in Germantown.
All right, so a couple more categories real quick. Most podiums, male athlete. Brian, what you got?
I got Luke Hooper for my folks. Luke Hooper was 7. There he is, Hooper at the state crit, looking all sharp. He also had the most podiums with the longest hair until he switched jobs. He had that mustache and that long hair just going. And he would have had more podiums if at Tulsa Tough, he was on such good fitness. And as can happen when you feel really strong, it's very easy to do too much work. But yeah, Luke was 7, was the winner on my side.
There you go. How about okay? So my male most podiums: Jordan Green, Morgantown, Kentucky.
There we go, Jordan.
EMJ. I mean, I could count him up, but he pretty much podiumed in every race he did. So.
Well, you can't.
And he loves to race. We'll just put it that way.
And on the ladies' side, female most podiums goes to, doing my own drum roll, Lee Rustin with 19 podiums. She should have done 2 more, and then it would have been 21 in 21. but
Ooh,
19 podiums. That's a ton.
that's a
There's a
lot
lot
of
of people who
racing
don't do
too.
19 races, let alone get 19
Exactly.
podiums. So she was killing it all year long. Had an amazing season. So who you got?
Yeah, on my end, I get Meg Hall again. Had several great races, podiumed in the majority of them, and we could also throw Coach Heather in there. Coach Heather, pretty much every race she did, she ended up an age group or an overall podium. So, yeah, solid.
All right. So it sounds like you need 2 hammers for them.
2 hammers.
Okay.
I got plenty of hammers.
Carmichael, we might need you to 3D print some more hammers for us, please.
All right, so now to the fun ones here. Best cheering section as an individual.
The nominees are.
We have Jeffrey Sass, aka Elvis.
I mean, that's a tough one to beat, honestly.
That is.
For the amount of races you see him at, he's not like a one-hit wonder. You get a lot of, like the Macarena, one-hit wonder. Elvis, not a one-hit wonder. That guy just dropping hits.
And he's been doing it for years.
Year after year after year.
All right, second, we've got Francisco Alatorre at the St. Jude Marathon. Disco man here.
So if you're not seeing this on video and you're just listening on the podcast, you are missing out.
Yeah, he's full on disco garb, bell bottoms, and he's got the Elvis glasses on. Looks like, and afro.
I gotta kind of give it to the runner there as well.
The thing to note on Francisco is that after this race, he got really sick. He was like down for days after this race. He just wore himself out cheering, man.
It happens, man. When you go deep like that, we should toss him in there for the left it all out there. Late entry.
He did.
Double nominee. Who else we got, Sanford?
Oh, well, you're not going to be upset about this one, Bryant. We got Coach B Fun for his free to anyone encouragement and high fives, including butt slaps, at the Ironman 70.3 Memphis.
Tooting my own horn right there. Yeah, after a long, hard season of racing and coaching myself, kind of let the old hair down on that day. Ended up with blisters on my feet from running in my flip-flops.
It was pouring rain.
It was,
and all you had were slides on.
Yeah. And I may have had an adult beverage or two that day.
Possibly. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give the award to our buddy Jeff Sass.
Oh yeah, it's got to happen.
The other, Francisco and Brian, you were out there, but Jeff is out there time after time after time. The man can sing, the man can cook. He's the real deal.
He's he is. He's the mainstay. He's the one that all folks in the best cheering section as an individual should aspire to become.
That's right.
And I predict we might see old Sass back on the podium for this award next year.
It's possible. And if you were at the Memphis 70.3, you would notice that he did the entire race in his Elvis garb.
Yep, that suit will never be the same.
No, bloody nipples and all.
Yeah. All right, we're coming down to what? Are we on our last award?
Yeah, this is the last award. This is the best cheering section as a group.
As a group.
Yep. So, first we're gonna have to go with, it's just, a little biased, but the inflatable crew at the Memphis 70.3.
Uh-huh.
We had the T-Rex. We had the chicken. We had the person riding the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
We had one hell of a tailgate in that corner during the race.
That was the place to be.
It was it. We got Coach B Fun handing up brewskis to fellow athletes.
You know, when your race isn't maybe going super terrific, a beer hand up can change the day for you.
It's true. And then from what I heard, this was I wasn't there, but the Memphis Thunder had a heck of a cheering section at the aid station at St. Jude Marathon, which included Mr. Alatorre. So he was part of that. Although, as you can see in the picture, he was kind of on his own
He's gone rogue
for a large part of that.
He was just caught up in the excitement of the whole thing.
That's right.
Hey, I know how it goes, Francisco. I know how it goes.
And then the last nominees are the Haydens at the top of the fire tower with fireball shots at Walking Tall 50K.
Yeah. I mean, this is how many years in a row for them. We got to kind of think about longevity here in the cheering game. I know Thunder, they come out and represent often. And I know the rumor has it the Haydens started kind of as a joke, right?
It started the first year as a joke just to see who would take it. And Connor was taking some pictures at the top of the fire tower. And then people were just like, I'm not coming back unless those people are up at the top of that fire tower.
Yep.
So I think it goes without saying, the Hammie goes to the Haydens.
And we're a little biased because they're two of our athletes.
That's true. Shouldn't have put that in there.
Oh, sorry. Just
can we cut that up?
Yeah. Hayden's, pick up your baby hammers in Germantown, Tennessee.
Yeah, so that's kind of that's all we have for the Hammies this year. What we would appreciate is if you would give us some more categories for next year. So shoot us an email to coach or couch at buildpeakcompete.com and give us your ideas on categories. We want to expand this amazing award show that we have produced here today. But it all goes without saying, 2021's kind of been weird again, up and down. It's kind of been the story of a lot of people's races, still kind of not knowing whether things are going to happen or not, and then all of a sudden they are, and you get tons and tons of races in the last half of the year. But it's looking up, and it looks like things are going to go much more back to normal, to have like a full normal season next year. So we're excited about that. We're going to be kind of talking about what we're excited about on the next episode. But obviously we want to thank all of our athletes who have, continued to train and race through this like really, really weird time. So thanks to everyone. What else you got, Funson?
No, I mean, I think you nailed it. It was great to kind of get racing back going. It was a compressed year for a lot of folks, especially like in the road cycling world. I mean, having Paris-Roubaix in October. So I think one thing we've learned is people adapt, and you make the most out of what you're given. So our athletes did that. It was great to see so much racing happening. It was great to see people out there competing, training, pushing themselves. And, I hope in 2022, it's looking like we'll see a lot more of that. And I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. And congratulations to everyone who has won a Hammie. Again, you can pick it up in Germantown.
Are you putting each one on a necklace chain like you got there?
Oh, I can.
Or
I can definitely do that. If you would rather a worn Hammie, just let me know. If you're actually going to come get it. Only if you're going to come and get it.
Good stuff. Well, we'll be back with the 2022, what we're looking forward to. And we plan to be, like Coach Dale mentioned at the start, we plan to be much more consistent. So if you have topics, please shoot topics to us. Anything you want us to discuss, we're happy to dive deeper into that. We plan on having more gear reviews coming in 2022. So everything's looking up on our end, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate everybody hanging out, listening, watching. We'll catch you guys next time.
And don't be afraid to give us your likes.